Okay, well, we can add anything at the end if you want. I'll just get started with the questions. So, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. So last night I worked. I was up late, kind of working on this press release for about Medicare for All. And this morning, when I got up, I picked up my dog, and I have kind of a big dog. He's a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd mix, and I share him with my cousin. But the reason I'm telling you this is because he has very long, wiry hair. And so when I picked him up this morning, it went right in my eye. And this is why
Oh,
I'm wearing this patch. So other than that, it's going pretty good. And plus, I thought maybe I looked kind of cool with it. So
you
okay, cool, cool.
do. Awesome. Okay, so right now, what phase of the campaign are you in, or where do you feel like you are in the campaign?
Yeah, we really just started the campaign, about 2.5 weeks ago. So we've been, getting a lot done really quickly. We are in this phase right now over November and December where we are trying to basically just get our name out there, make sure that people know what we're about, what we are trying to do. And we're also trying to raise money so that we can begin our bus tour in January 2020, because we want to go, of course, to visit all across America and to collect signatures and to really kind of get out the message about what we're trying to do. So right now we're focused on raising a little bit of money, hoping people will join our team as volunteers, and that's kind of the big push right now.
Awesome. Yeah, the bus tour sounds awesome, and we definitely need a lot of volunteers. So anybody watching, if you're interested in volunteering, please get a hold of us because we'll be in all 50 states. So one thing I thought would be a really great question to ask would be like, do you have a story of an experience or something that led you to finally just say, you know what, I'm going to run?
I do. Well, so I'll tell you kind of what happened. I have been in the social services and nonprofit sector, for my whole career. This is what I did with my career. And about about this time last year, I decided that I really felt that we had to make some pretty significant changes at the federal level if we really wanted to not address, but to solve some of our nation's problems, right? So, rather than, continuing to build homeless shelters, I think we can end homelessness. Rather than, continuing to address poverty, I think we can end poverty. And so these are the things that started to really to bubble up for me about this time last year. And I went, I'd be kind of nervous about it. I tend to actually be kind of a shy person. And so I was concerned about, do I really want to do something like this? But I went to this conference, actually, this retreat, and I was just talking, I had on my mind, I'm like, well, is this something I should do? And I just started talking about the things that I cared about. And a couple of people said, hey, I would vote for you. And I was like,
Yep.
well, that's kind of interesting because I was just thinking about whether or not I should run for president. And so one, that kind of was some validation for me that there were people who really believed and wanted these kind of changes. And two, I met you. And actually what happened is you said, hey, would you like to run for an office? And we started talking. We started talking about what that office might be. And one day you said, hey, do you want to run for Greenville, which is where we live, Greenville City Council? And I said, actually, I'm running for president. And so then I think you know the rest of the story. You might tell it different.
No, that's the story I know. And can I say a little bit about that too?
Please, yeah.
Well, I mean, so I pretty much had decided that I wasn't going to work for an individual's campaign anymore. That was and that was something that we had talked about there. I was like, I don't really know if I'm into that. I'm more into the issues and things like that. But another thing that sets this apart from just working for one person in their campaign is, I like what a lot of groups are doing. So I care about the poor people campaign. I care about Planned Parenthood. I care about, I could just go on and on and on and on and on about all the groups that I care about and all the things that are happening that I want to be a part of, to either help them grow or help them to help other people. But with this campaign, you embody all of those things. So, if you're elected, then you can help all these people. And you have so many issues that are geared towards so many people. And that was what set this apart for me anyway.
Well, it just, it was like really great that, that we just kind of met. And to me, it's really important, I think as people, as Americans, we get angry about the issues. But, the thing that really became really crystal clear for me is that I really I want all of us to win, right? Like, and that ended up being our, part of our campaign slogan is that, we're not really out to be against anybody. We are for everybody. And I think that's what's really important to me. Moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know this, we kind of already covered this, but I'm going to ask you, and maybe there are some things that you can talk about that maybe we haven't covered. And my question was, if you could summarize your plan in a few sentences, just something very simple that you could say 100 times in a row, maybe, or something. Do you have anything for that?
What I would say is that we are really about individual rights, promoting individual rights, and also making sure that our systems are equal and equitable and fair for everyone. And so I think that those are really the key things that we are trying to push forward with our plan, is to promote freedom and to really make sure that things are fair and equitable for everyone. And I think I guess that would be the short part, but the thing that I think is really important is that we have a plan that's really practical, and we're not just throwing it out there, and we're not just saying, we think this thing should happen. We actually, wrote it down, and we said, this is how it would work, and this is what we would need to do with Congress or through executive order to make it happen. And I think that's one of the things that makes this also really comfortable, is because, we're not just saying it, we put it on paper.
Right. Well, what makes the area, Greenville, so unique concerning your campaign and its platform?
Yeah, so here's kind of the deal. People always ask me this. They're always like, well, where are you from, right? This is like a common question that people have, particularly in a rural town. But so it's always been a little bit hard for me because my dad was in the military, and so I was born in the South, and I have lived, I've lived overseas, and I've lived in different places. And so, but no matter what, my family is multiple generations are from this town of Greenville, Ohio. And so since I was a baby, every year I have come here. I've always looked forward to hanging out with my grandma when she was alive, and going to Made Right, which is like a loose meat sandwich for people who don't know, with onions and pickles. Very good. So for me, this city has been a part of my life because it's been a part of my family for a really long time. And I think, so thinking about, where to house this campaign or where to do that, it just seemed like the right thing, to make it here in Greenville. There are some cool things about Greenville, but you might know some more things about it. So do you want to talk about it?
Well, I wasn't prepared for that. I do really think, as far as the community goes and the citizens go, I think right now is a time where people around here are really trying to make a difference. I see it with, I guess it would be the millennial generation for the most part. Like, they don't get a lot of credit, but I see them out there, and there's so many things going on, and there's so many things happening. And I think a lot of communities around here are suffering because of the opioid epidemic and different problems like that. And so people are coming together and like trying to make change happen. So I guess that's kind of what's happening in this town right now. And in Ohio, I think this whole part of Ohio.
Yeah, I think there are some cool things about Greenville that people don't know. So I'm just going to share them too. There's this thing here called the Great Dark County Fair. So if you've never been, it is an amazing fair. And the other thing that's here is Whirlpool and KitchenAid. There's some really kind of really cool businesses and organizations here in Greenville. But I think, as you said, there are some real challenges that we have right here in Ohio that I think really speak to the challenges that we're facing in America. So like you said, there's, a lot of challenges with addictions. There's a lot of challenges that happened when the manufacturing industry moved out of Ohio. We still see job losses here. We still feel the impact of that change every single day in towns like Greenville and Ohio. And so to me, it's really important when we're doing this work that we're really talking about addressing the things that are important here at home. So when we're talking about a healthcare plan, we're talking about making sure that our neighbors, our friends, our families are protected and are cared for. And when we're talking about changing the economic system, we're talking about making sure that people in Greenville and people in Ohio have economic security into their retirements, because right now we're all worried about Social Security and whether or not it's going to be there. And even what we have today is not enough for people to live on. It's so hard watching people struggle, with that fixed income. The other thing, that I think is really, like we both mentioned, is the drug epidemic. And to me, it's so important that we move away from this prohibition model and start to really focus on a well-regulated legalization model, because I think we need to focus on the problems, which are addiction, which is safe commerce, which is making sure that we get needles and the drug trade out of neighborhoods. But we really need people to be able to do the things that they're going to do in a safe way and to access the services that they need. And again, those issues are happening right here in Greenville, and they're happening right here in Ohio. So I feel like we are in the exact right place.
Yeah, it's like the heart of it all, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this question.
Okay.
This has been a question that's been asked to me a lot, and so I thought it would be funny to ask you. Where are you getting all this money?
I don't have any money. Yeah, I think it's, I think one of the things is that we came together as people who really cared about America. And we came together and said, we're going to do this because we believe in it. We're going to do this because we think it's the right thing to do. And we're doing it without any money, to tell you the truth. So we're going to run a presidential campaign, off a website, or we're going to run a presidential campaign off video and our phones and cameras like this. We rented an office here. It costs $250 a month. So that's what we're doing. And I think what we are is about being passionate. We're about being committed, and we're about seeing this through and making these things happen. And so of course, we would love donations. We would love to come in. One of the things we want to do is to do our bus tour. We want to, we do want to get a bus so that we can go across the country. We certainly would love donations. But when it comes to the question of where are you getting all this money? Well, that has yet to be seen.
That is a great answer. Yes, that is the truth, and that's what's happening here. So you kind of went over next steps, the bus tour, getting petitions signed in all 50 states, making sure that we get the word out through video, emails, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else that you want to add to that as far as future plans go, or anything that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, I think, really what we're hoping for, kind of over the next couple of months before January comes around, is we would love to get volunteers. And like you said, in every state in the United States, we really want to begin that signature collection. The next project, kind of in preparation for that, though, is to pick a running mate. And so we need a vice president.
Yeah.
And I guess right now we're looking for a vice president. And so, if you or someone really believes in and cares about what we're trying to do here, please join us. The only stipulation, is that you care. And so I think that's important. So if you would like to be the next Vice President of the United States of America, please send an email to aj at ackerforpresident.com.
Awesome, yeah. And you can send videos if you want.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, well, if there's nothing else that you'd like to add, we can wrap this one up. Try it again later.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see everybody next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.